Chlorine.
Glenn, when you're talking about using these various elements, so you're talking about using them homeopathic.
Yeah. Oh, well, and physically.
And physically as
Yeah,
well.
sure.
Because, I mean, I sat through 3 days of your presentations a few years ago, and I came back very excitedly and a bit confused at times. But what I came away with was that when you say look at a soil or herbage test, you get these figures that say, oh, you need a little bit more, a little bit of this. And the relationship that I'm really trying to make is say, okay, maybe I need phosphorus, or I need calcium, but what else can I do besides just add phosphorus or just add calcium? And one of the things I've tried, I'm still working on it to extract out of that is, can we influence these energetic activities to rebalance these things in the soil instead of just strictly putting things on? Because a lot of the testing we've done in the last couple of years on our farm are showing us that we've got a whole lot more mineral down there than what soil tests are normally telling us, and we see that through the plant. But at the same time, a lot of times, we'll have a manifestation of a particular problem or disease in a plant. And then we'll get these testings done and we'll say, well, the soil test tells us this and maybe the herbage test tells us this. Now, I can go and put zinc on, or instead, what's really happening is there's an energetic imbalance someplace, and it seems to me if we can get a grips on these charts, we can start to look at what those energetic imbalances are and start to take some different actions of some kind.
Okay. If you don't have the physical substance there, put it on. If you have the physical substance, but you're not accessing that, I think that's really the role of homeopathics. Yeah. If you've got locked up phosphate and you put in sodium phosphate as a homeopathic, I think you'll find that will liberate the sodium, the phosphate of that. Now, a story on that was I had a brassica that was growing and it was just wilting through the daytime. It was quite old. It was probably over 12 months old, and I played with it a bit, and so it was just going. It was flowering, leafing. It just wouldn't flower, so I just left it. And it was about this high, and there was about 14 stalks of it, and it was quite old. And I hadn't fed it for quite a while, and it started wilting through the day, which means boron, that the boron's low. And so I went with some sodium borate and I sprayed it, and it stopped wilting. It just started, functioning. So it was saying that the boron became active.
That was a homeopathic.
Yeah, homeopathic boron. And so it says to me that that's how we can use these elements. But we've got to be aware that they're forces, they're not substance. So they're activators, okay? Homeopathics are just activators. Now, we've always said that if you don't have the substance there, so, your calcium levels are low and it's only even 50% of your base saturation instead of 70%, well, you can come in there immediately and apply calcium sulfate as a homeopathic, and that will activate that sulfur process, but that will be dropping your calcium. It'll activate the calcium process, which will activate the calcium mineral, but that will be dropping your calcium. So if you keep doing that, you're going to run out of calcium mineral and then you'll be stuffed. Now, this is what we've learned about the about the biodynamic preparations. If you just use biodynamic preparations on your farm, you will run all your minerals out. You'll run all your trace elements out, and then you're in a big, deep problem. Because, putting it all back is not really even in the philosophy, it's put on compost. So we've got to really be aware that the homeopathic is an activator. And so if you've got the substance there and it's not being activated, then you can do this and get away with it. But if you don't have the substance, you've got to put it on. If it's not there, you've got to put it in. Because they are carriers of the force. We've got to sort of get it, that yes, they're substances, but they have a direct link to the process and the force. And so you put that substance on, you suck in that force. It is that physical. And so, we've got two strings. We've got the substance, but we can activate. And so this is just giving us a hint of how we can activate. I have to admit I've only taken this so far, this work, and there's, as you can appreciate, lots more that can be done. Come back next year, you know. So I hope I've enthused you all enough to, you know, request more.
Thank you very much.